Hey everyone, it's Chrissy. Welcome back to my kitchen. I'm gonna make blueberry scones. So if you saw me the other day make lemon curd, you can't have lemon curd without scones. So I'm gonna be using the Pampered Chef's Flex Plus Multi-Prep tool. So I have 3 cups of self-rising flour in here. You can make self-rising flour out of all-purpose flour and some baking soda and baking powder, but I had the all-purpose. So I'm gonna add in 1/2 cup of sugar, and in the bottom of this, I just have the regular blade, the all-purpose blade. And so I'm gonna pop the lid on first, maybe. I always do it backwards, especially when it's live. There we go. All right, so then you put on the power stick, and that just slides in like that. You're always gonna put your battery on last. So with this system, you get 2 batteries, so you'll never run out of power. Each battery goes for about 30 minutes, and you're gonna just pop that on. It does also come with a charging base. All right, so I'm just gonna give this a quick pulse. I'll turn it around so you guys can see. Underneath here, right underneath the base, is a little safety. So you're gonna push that first, and then you will increase or decrease the power. And I'm just gonna give this a quick stir. Okay, my butter's a little softer than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. I'm gonna pop in, I just have 1 stick of butter that I have cut up into some little pats. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this in, maybe, if I can push my button correctly. There we go. Okay, and the recipe calls for unsalted butter. I know, I am like the worst baker on the planet, or most bakers would just cringe, but I just about always use salted butter, and I actually prefer the results. So you can try it. I think it's great. All right. Perfect. Okay, so then the recipe calls for a cup of buttermilk, and I used to buy buttermilk and I would have it in my fridge intending to fully use it, and then I never did. So I just use the powdered now, and I know that you can also just put the powder in and then add the liquid, but I rehydrated it and used my little mini whippers. So these are awesome because you can whip up a little bit of protein, you can whip up a couple eggs, anything that you need to whisk a little bit, this works great. Okay, so I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna do this backwards. I'm gonna turn it on, I'm gonna get it started. And I'm just gonna slowly pour this in. Okay. All right, there we go. I'm gonna leave it at that because I wanna mix in the rest. So I've got some blueberries that I'm gonna add. So when you take this apart, you're gonna pull off the battery first, then the power stick. So you always wanna be safe and have no power to these blades. And then you can, on this one, this is the food processor attachment, obviously. This cover for the lid comes off and is dishwasher safe, and then everything else on the lid, you'll just wipe down. And then the base, the cup, and this all-purpose blade is also dishwasher safe. So let me just scrape this down. And so this is not the only piece to this whole unit. You also get with it, you're going to get an immersion blender. You're going to get a hand mixer, and then you're going to get 2 other blades for this food processor. All right, so I'm just going to mix the rest of this in here. So I've got about a 1/2 cup of blueberries. I'm just going to make a really soft dough with this. And then I'm also going to add in just a hint of vanilla because I love vanilla. You could do almond extract with this. Pretty much any extract you like, you could do. This is a recipe my mom has used for a long time now, and she can make these probably in her sleep, and she now creates all sorts of different versions for herself. So, and actually this recipe originally called for blackberries, but I couldn't find any in the store right now, and I love blueberries anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I'm just going to throw these in and kind of lightly mix them in. My oven is preheated to 400, and I'm going to be using our pizza stone today. So this is the new Stone Fusion. Let me pull this in so you guys can see. So it is a 15-inch round stone, and I always say just because it's round doesn't mean it's just for pizza. All right, so this is a little bit of a soft dough. Probably should take my rings off. That would be helpful so that they're not in the way. And I'll post this video, or the recipe, I'm sorry, in my recipe community. So if you have not been there, check the link here in the description and join us. I've got tons of recipes, lots of tips, all sorts of fun stuff. So let me throw this in. I've got a little flour in the bottom. I'm just going to knead that by hand. And I love scones because they're so easy. They're really simple. These scones especially, I like because they're not too dry. I don't really care for scones that are super, super dry, so that buttermilk really helps to give them some moisture. All right. Pull this dough off. So good. It smells amazing. And scones are pretty forgiving too, so even if they're not perfect, it doesn't matter because they're going to taste so, so good. All right, so super simple. I am not going to do a whole lot with this. I'm just going to pat it out into a little bit of a circle. Oh, those blueberries are going to burst when they get hot and make this so, so good. All right. And then I have our cutting tool here. I'm just going to go across the center and across the center and again. So this will make 8. All right, so I'm just going to pop this into the oven. Let me double check my my time, just for about 10 minutes. So these are going to be done. I'm going to come back and I'll show you how they turned out. And welcome back. So these are all done. You can see how they have risen up because of that self-rising flour. This stone is super hot, so when I pulled it out of my oven, I definitely needed my little mini oven mitts, and I have it sitting right now on top of our trivet set. So I cut them. I could probably have moved them apart some more, but I don't care because we're just going to cut them anyway. So now I'm going to make a glaze. Super simple. I have our 3-cup prep bowl here, and I have about a cup of powdered sugar. And then in my little mini Easy Read measuring cup, I've got 3 whole tablespoons of water, and I'm just going to kind of slowly mix this in with my little mini skinny scraper until it's the consistency that I like. I don't want it to be too runny, but you don't want it to be too thick either. And you can brush this on, like this is still too thick. So I'm gonna add a little bit more water, but not a whole lot because we're close. So it kind of depends on the humidity in your area on the day that you're making a glaze. And just, because sometimes I need the full amount of water for a glaze and other times I don't. So it just kind of depends. All right, so you can brush this glaze on. I'm just gonna drizzle it, and you wanna do it while these are still hot. Oh my goodness, these smell so good. The blueberries have kind of popped open for some of them. And this is just the perfect brunch recipe for Easter coming up, Mother's Day coming up. And again, you can make these in so many different flavor combinations, different extracts, different fruits. You can add chocolate chips, white chocolate chips, and really make these your own. So with that, we're gonna definitely be serving these with the lemon curd I made. If you did not get to see that video, check back either here on my channel or in my recipe group. And also, if you're unfamiliar with Pampered Chef stoneware, check out the video that I did called Pampered Chef Stones 101, because that's going to give you lots of good information, how to use them. They are super hardy and very easy to use. You do not need to baby these guys at all, and they're not just for bread or for pizza. You can make so many different things on them. So check this out. Let me zoom in. I'm going to show you guys and lift this up. There they are. Perfect scones. Can't wait to try them. Thank you guys so much for joining me in my kitchen, and I'll see you next time.